Signs. Let's see the signs and symptoms of hypermetropia. So the first will be asymptomatic. The patient will be asymptomatic. When the disease is when the hypermetropia is less, this will be corrected by ciliary muscles, right? So when the hypermetropia is less, this will be corrected by the ciliary muscles. But when the as the disease progresses, what happens is these ciliary muscles will have to work more, will have to work more, or will have to contract more to to correct hypermetropia. Due to this, ciliary muscles will undergo stress, right? This results in headache. This results in headache, frontotemporal. This headache will be frontotemporal, right? Frontotemporal will be frontotemporal. There will be watering of eyes. Watering of eyes. There will be mild photophobia. Mild photo. There will be mild photophobia. Okay, you see, these these symptoms are usually seen during the evening times. During the evening times, especially there, these will be seen more during evening time. You know why? Because when you woke up, the work that you give to the muscles will be less, because this is the starting time, right? So as the time progresses during day, uh, eyes will undergo, or ciliary muscles will undergo more stress, right? As you go on continuously using muscles, this will undergo stress, right? So during the evening times, these symptoms will be more clear. Okay. When even even after this also, if the disease goes on, if the disease increases in severity, what happens is you will see defective vision. As the disease progresses, these ciliary muscles cannot correct hypermetropia. Okay, this will be behind the level of, behind the capacity of ciliary muscles. This results in defective vision. Clear? This will be defective vision. These are the symptoms. Let's see what will be the signs. Okay, first we'll see the size of eyeball. So size will be less. Clear? Size will be less. When you see cornea, this cornea, you see this cornea will be slightly smaller. Slightly will be smaller, right? When you see anterior chamber, when you see anterior chamber, this anterior chamber will be shallow. See, this anterior, as the anterior chamber is shallow, this results in this predisposes to glaucoma, right? This predisposes to glaucoma, because what you see, when the anterior chamber is small or shallow, sorry, when the anterior chamber is shallow, it results in narrowing of angle of anterior chamber, narrowing of angle of anterior chamber, right? This results in glaucoma. Clear? When you do fundus examination, when you do fundus examination, you will see there will be increased vascularity of optic disc. This will be, there will be increased vascularity to optic disc, and you will see the borders are not clear. Borders of outline of optic disc are not clear. Not clear. So these symptoms, these signs that you see in the fundus will appear as if it is papillitis. Will appear as it is papillitis. As all of us know, this is not papillitis, right? This is not papillitis. This is due to hypermetropia. So this is called pseudopapillitis. The appearance is like papillitis, but this is not papillitis. This is hypermetropia. Hence it is pseudopapillitis. When you do ultrasonography, when you do ultrasonography, this ultrasonography will be used for what? To measure the anterior posterior dimensions or dimensions of eyeball. So when you do anterior posterior dimension, when you measure anterior posterior dimension, what you see is decrease in anterior posterior dimension, right? These are signs and symptoms. Clear? These are signs and symptoms. Now we will see the grading of hypermetropia. Grading of hypermetropia. There will be 3 grades: low grade, moderate or low hypermetropia, moderate hypermetropia. Third one is high hypermetropia. High hypermetropia. Low grade hypermetropia. What is low grade hypermetropia? When the error of hypermetropia is less than or equal to +2 diopter. +2 diopter. Right? This is low hypermetropia. Moderate in the sense +2 to +5. Beyond +5 it is high hypermetropia. This is grading. Let's see the complications. What happens if you don't treat this hypermetropia? Let's see the complication. See, when you don't treat hypermetropia, the ciliary muscles will undergo stress, right? So due to this stress, what people do is they will rub the eyes. Due to this rubbing, it results in recurrent styles, blepharitis and or chalgia. Clear? So due to rubbing of eyes, it results in development of recurrent styles, blepharitis and chalgia. Clear? So when the hypermetropia is high, what happens is there will be accommodative convergent quint. Accommodative convergent quint. Clear? There will be development of accommodative convergent quint. Third one is amblyopia. As I already told you, it results in the development of primary narrow angle glaucoma. It results in development of primary narrow angle glaucoma. These are the complications. The first complication is recurrent styes, blepharitis or chalgia. Second is accommodative convergent quint. Third one is amblyopia. Third one is development of primary narrow angle glaucoma. Clear? These are the signs and symptoms and complications.